Welcome to another episode of Football Scientific with me, Aaron Sauter. I'm a writer for the UFL News Hub and CFL News Hub. I cover the San Antonio Brahmas of the UFL and the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL, and I cover the Indoor Football League, and I'm breaking into the NAL this year. Today was another wild and crazy day of NFL transactions as free agency officially started today. Things got crazy again. I'm hoping that over the next few days, the NFL free agency will cool down and we can go more into analysis of NFL teams and their rosters. But right now, it's fast and furious. It's still going on tonight. New signings. I just cut it off so I can make a video, and I'll pick up the rest tomorrow and in tomorrow's video. Okay. First, a big announcement. Timmy, the trash-talking Tiger Shark, has returned. Hey guys, I'm back. I was hurt, but I'm feeling better now. And he's feeling better now. Okay, so it's good to have Timmy back. The trash-talking Tiger Shark, he is back from his recovery from his fight with Corky the crocodile, okay? But we're going to jump right in to these signings. There's a bunch of them. Before that, though, we're going to talk about quarterbacks real quick. Some things that happened outside of signings is that quarterback Aaron Rodgers, was released by the New York Jets. Russell Wilson was not re-signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? So both of those quarterbacks are technically homeless right now. They're homeless in the NFL. They're both going to get signed most likely. They're both highly regarded. Now it looks like Rodgers is using the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants as leverage to try and get a great deal. And I just read an article before I started this video. He's looking for potentially, Adam Schefter feels he's looking for 2 years for $90 million. That's $45 million a year for a quarterback that's only played one season in the last 2 years and won 5 games with the Jets when they had a loaded defense. I would not pay him $45 million a year. I would pay him $30 million a year. But the Steelers usually make good decisions. They're making bad decisions in quarterbacks right now. Bad decisions. Heard Russell Wilson is looking at the Vikings. He's looking at the Giants. He's looking at the Browns. I feel he's also trying to leverage teams. He's saying he's looking around, but what he's really doing is waiting for someone to drop a bunch of money on his head. That's another quarterback. His time is over. His time as a starter is over. He was not good last year. He was not good in Denver. It's over, Rover. Pick a new thing, man. Become a backup or something. Same for Aaron Rodgers. Someone's going to overpay this guy, and it's going to be disastrous for a team. If it's the Steelers, I'm going to feel good because I like the Bengals, okay? I like the Bengals. Go Bengals! That's right, Timmy, go Bengals, okay? We're happy to see the Steelers make horrible decisions. Well, that's going to be the next big story is Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson finding a home. I'll probably do a short during Football Scientific Night Vision and talk about that when that busts out. Okay, that'll be the next big story. Our first episode short of Football Scientific Night Vision was last night, and I used it to announce the late night signing of Joey Bosa to the Buffalo Bills. Okay, the Buffalo Bills have signed Joey Bosa. He was released by the LA Chargers. They signed to a 1-year contract for $12.6 million. It gives him a chance to prove that he can still be a top player in the league. I don't think it's there. I think it's a waste of money, honestly. That's going to be my hot take, as I think it's a waste of money. He's going to be injured all season. He's not going to be worth anything. But maybe he'll be good. I hope he is. I like the Bills. I hope it pays off for him. Okay. Detroit Steelers signed cornerback Darius Slay. He was released by Philadelphia. Now he's back with the Steelers, staying in Pennsylvania. He was signed to a 1-year contract of $10 million. The Buffalo Bills have traded cornerback Kaiir Elam to the Dallas Cowboys for a 2025 5th-round pick and a 2026 7th-round pick. That's not a high price. Elam had been pretty good. Oh, they also included a 6th-round pick with that to Dallas. So Dallas gets a cornerback, Kaiir Elam, a 6th-round pick in next year's draft. And then the Bills get a 5th-round pick this year and a 7th-round pick next year. Elam had played in 29 games for the Bills. He had 81 tackles, 6 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. Nothing stunning. But they did trade for him, getting some picks, and we'll see how they go. They got 2 picks for 1. Okay, one this year, 1 next year. All right, next. And the spring football side, several people have moved on from spring football, USFL, XFL, UFL, and moved on to bigger and better things. Graham Gano is one of those players. He moved on to the New York Giants. He got paid this year, just recently, 3-year deal, $16.5 million. That's a big payoff for a spring football guy. Quarterback Taylor Heineke, he's been with the Commanders. He's been with the Falcons. He's now going to stay with the Falcons. He got a 2-year extension for $14 million. And then kicker, Atlanta Falcons kicker, Young Hoku. He's been awesome for the Falcons. He got a 5-year extension for $24.25 million. $6.25 million is a signing bonus. $11.5 is guaranteed. That's huge for a spring football guy to get that. That's probably Jay Bates territory for the Steelers or the Lions in the near future. Sorry, lots of slips today. Boom, got it. Okay, Buffalo Bills have re-signed safety DeMar Hamlin for 1 year. They didn't mention the details on that. The LA Rams have released wide receiver Cooper Kupp. I mentioned they were going to look for a trade partner. They couldn't find one, so they released him. Boom, gone. They got Devontae Adams. They got Puka Nacua. They're going to be okay without him. He was injured a lot. His time feels like it's over. He's a discount player now. The Bengals may pick him up. Go Bengals. They go Bengals. That's right. Okay. All right. Next, Dallas Cowboys. They ran another trade situation. They have picked up linebacker Kenneth Murray from the Tennessee Titans. It was a trade today. It was a trade. Tennessee Titans traded Kenneth Murray to the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, and that's a good move for Tennessee. They're freeing up some space so that way they can sign some people. Okay, they need a lot of help. Seattle Seahawks. They have signed Demarcus Lawrence, okay, 3 years, $42 million. Denver Broncos signed tight end Evan Ingram. I mentioned 2 days ago he had visited Denver. They signed him for a 2-year contract, $23 million. Next, the Minnesota Vikings signed offensive lineman Javon Hargrave for 2 years, $30 million. I mentioned yesterday they were considering signing him once the 49ers released him. 49ers released him today. He gets signed by the Minnesota Vikings, got a new home instantly. Awesome. Okay, Vikings are loading up on the offensive line. Why? Because the Detroit Lions loaded up on offensive defensive line. The Bears are loaded up on offensive defensive line. The Vikings got to do the same. I'm surprised the Packers are not doing the same. We'll see what they do. I mentioned earlier, New York Jets released quarterback Aaron Rodgers. That was expected for a long time. He's trying to play off the Steelers and Giants. He's got to get a great deal. Looking at 2 years, $90 million as his asking price. That's crazy. I would not pay him that. Seattle Seahawks signed Marquez Valdes-Scantling for 1 year for $5.5 million. The Baltimore Ravens released cornerback Arthur Maulet. Tennessee Titans signed defensive back Xavier Woods for 2 years for $10 million. Once again, they need help on offense and they need help everywhere. So Xavier Woods is a pretty good defensive back for them, taking care of their defensive secondary. Okay. Cleveland Browns re-signed Devin. His last name escapes me. He's a Sam linebacker for them. Devin Boost, something of that nature. For 1 year for $3.25 million. He feels like a backup to me, so it doesn't matter. Las Vegas Raiders, they signed Eric Stokes for 1 year for $4 million. Buffalo Bills re-signed Reggie Gilliam for 1 year, $2 million. Once again, these are a lot of backup players, but they're still important. You never know who's going to become the most important players on these teams over the year. Okay, San Francisco 49ers re-signed cornerback Jason Pinnock for 1 year for $4 million. Next, the Dallas Cowboys punter Brian Anger has got a 2-year extension. Next, Denver Broncos signed wide receiver Trent Shepard for 2-year contract. We'll see how that pays off for him. Okay. All right. Boom. Tennessee Titans wide receiver Van Jefferson signed with the Tennessee Titans for 1 year for $2.5 million. Buffalo Bills signed defensive lineman Larry Ogunjobi. Okay, that's adding to with Joey Bosa. They're signing defensive lineman Larry Ogunjobi for 1 year for $8.3 million. That's a good contract for him. Last year, he had 21 tackles, 1.5 sacks with Pittsburgh. Okay, he's moving on to the Bills. The Denver Broncos have signed linebacker Justin Sturnad and extended him for 1 year for $2.7 million. He had 73 tackles last year and 3 sacks. That's a pretty good output for a linebacker. Okay, next, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have re-signed defensive lineman Gray Gary, okay, and that's 1 year for $5.5 million. $1.5 million, sorry. The Cincinnati Bengals have re-signed defensive back Marco Wilkins, okay, for 1 year. The Kansas City Chiefs, big story here. They have restructured the contract of Patrick Mahomes. Okay, they try to free up a lot of space on their salary cap so they can maintain their ability to stay good. They've made some weird decisions the last couple of months. I feel like they're tearing down. They're starting to rebuild, but now they're trying to make moves to reverse that process. They restructured the contract with Pat Mahomes and defensive line Chris Jones, and they have freed up $50 million in their salary cap by doing that. We'll see if they start making moves since they freed up a bunch of money. Okay, Atlanta Falcons have re-signed cornerback Mike Ford, 2 years, $4 million. Buffalo has re-signed defensive back Derek Forrest for 1 year. LA Chargers have re-signed linebacker Troy Dye for 2 years for $5.5 million. Last year he had 57 tackles, 1.5 sacks. That's worth roughly $2.5 million. That's really good. He should probably get paid more, honestly. Okay. LA Chargers re-signed wide receiver Jalen Reagor. The terms are not released. Washington Commanders re-signed quarterback Marcus Mariota, 1 year extension. That's a backup for Jaden Daniels. That'll be really important because Jaden Daniels happens to get hurt. Marcus Mariota is a very similar player and should be able to step in and hold water. That happened this year. He stepped in and had to hold the water for the team and make sure they can stay in their playoff run. Okay. Washington Commanders also signed defensive tackle Eddie Goldman to a 1 year contract. The New York Jets have signed a pass rusher, Rashad Wynn, 1 year contract for him. Okay. Next, New York Giants. They have signed kick returner, okay, Emir Smith Marset. They've re-signed him. He's going to be keep kick returning. He had a touchdown last year as a kick returner. It's one of the bright spots on the New York Giants. One of the few bright spots. Carolina Panthers have signed linebacker Christopher Rosaboom. Okay, linebacker Christian Rosaboom. 1 year extension. 135 tackles last year, 1 sack. He gets a 1 year extension. They don't say the terms. That's a good player for them. They're trying to rebuild their defensive front over the last couple of days. Miami Dolphins re-signed wide receiver D. Escribe. Okay, I think it's Escribe. We'll see. Okay. Several more. LA Chargers re-signed linebacker Denzel Perryman. 1 year, $3.6 million. He had 55 tackles and a sack last year. Minnesota Vikings have... hang on 1 second. Minnesota Vikings have taken cornerback Tavierre Thomas and extended him. The New England Patriots have re-signed Jalen Hawkins for 1 year. Indianapolis Colts have re-signed running back Khalil Herbert. They need more than that. He got him for a 1 year extension. Baltimore Ravens release safety Marcus Williams. They're trying to free up money. Indianapolis Colts signed quarterback Daniel Jones. I mentioned yesterday, that's a quarterback graveyard. Goodbye, Daniel Jones. You're the next tribute to be sacrificed by the Indianapolis Colts, okay? Tennessee Titans, defensive end Draymond Jones gets a 1 year contract for $10 million. Okay. Arizona Cardinals, they have extended, they've offered a restricted free agency, ability to match any deal to wide receiver Gray Dortch. He's looking for a deal potentially. They said, if you get matched, or if you get offered, we'll match it. Maybe. Okay, we want the opportunity. So they do the same for tight end Travis Vokalek. They don't necessarily want him, but they will be willing to pay if he gets a decent offer. And they want to keep him if he's cheap enough, honestly. Washington Commanders signed defensive lineman Dietrich Wise 1 year. That was right at the end of me tracking these checkdowns. The New York Jets re-signed cornerback Isaiah Oliver. Boom. Baltimore Ravens, they have released cornerback Christian Matthews. I think I mentioned that already. All right. Next, the Baltimore Ravens have tendered an agreement to safety Ardarius Washington. Once again, if he gets an offer, they can match it They don't want to lose him. He's a restricted free agent. Last year he had 64 tackles at safety, 1 sack, 8 pass deflections, 2 interceptions. A pretty good season. They would like to keep him, but they don't want to overpay for him, so they're just going to match anything gets offered to him, okay? The Arizona Cardinals, they have linebacker Michael Walker. They've extended him. They've signed him, okay? Boom. Seattle Seahawks have released linebacker Joshua Onu-Jogu, okay? They're making a lot of space in their salary cap, probably for next year, honestly. Philadelphia Eagles have signed running back A.J. Dillon for a 1-year contract. He had last been with the Green Bay Packers. He was the Cincinnati Bengals a couple years ago. He's not hugely productive. He's a good, third running back. They have the Baltimore Ravens released running back, they released running back Owen Wright. Okay, once again, they're loading their running back. They're just releasing guys so they can free up their money. Let's see. We'll take a break. Washington Commanders, they signed cornerback Jonathan Jones, okay, for a 1-year contract. 2024, he had 58 tackles, 6 PBUs, pass breakups, and 2 fumble recoveries for the New England Patriots. He's one of the bright spots of the Patriots. Now he's with the Commanders, helping them rebuild their secondary. Okay, LA Chargers signed cornerback Benjamin St. Just. He had 71 tackles last year. They didn't say the terms, but they're adding him, okay? A lot of people adding defensive backs today. Dallas Cowboys have signed linebacker Jack Sanbarin, okay, through a 1-year extension. Cleveland Browns have signed defensive tackle Malik Collins to 2 years for $20 million, $10 million a year for a defensive tackle. I hope he's good. He's with the Browns, so he probably isn't. The Atlanta Falcons have re-signed wide receiver Kadero Hodge, 2 years for $6 million. He's not their top guy. He's a good depth guy. He makes he's a possession receiver for them. Okay, Philadelphia Eagles have re-signed safety. I may have already said this, but here it is. Re-signed safety Ben Van Sumeren. Okay, and he's probably a linebacker. Ben Van Sumeren for the Philadelphia Eagles. 1-year extension. Okay, Detroit Lions. They have re-signed defensive tackle Levi Onwuzurike, okay, for 1 year for $5.5 million. That's 25 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. For him, 1 year, $5.5 million, 28 tackles. That's pretty good for a defensive tackle. Carolina Panthers, they have re-signed wide receiver Dan Chesina. Okay, 1-year contract. It's a prove-it year for him. Let's see what he does. Okay. Dallas Cowboys have signed linebacker Jack. What was his name? Jack. I'm not sure how to say this. Let's see. All right, I just said it. Boom, don't worry about it. Okay, next. Seattle Seahawks have signed wide receiver Cody White. Okay. Kansas City Chiefs, they have signed Jack Cochran. He's a special teams player for them. Kansas City Chiefs have re-signed tight end Peyton Hendershot. Okay, no, they're releasing him. Sorry, my bad. I'm going quickly through these because I don't want this video to take forever. I got something to talk about other than these transactions. We're buzzing through the transactions. Hopefully they'll start slowing down in the next couple of days. Cleveland Browns have re-signed defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson. Carolina Panthers re-signed running back Rico Dowdell. 1-year contract for $3 million. He always lets me down in fantasy football. Last year I used him a little bit and I did not make the playoffs because of him. He did not produce well. Washington Commanders signed running back Jeremy McNichols for 1 year. They had any running back issues. He's a depth guy. I guess we'll see where he plays out. Kansas City Chiefs released kicker Spencer Schrader. He's released. Goodbye. He's a backup kicker for them. Detroit Lions re-signed running back Craig Reynolds. He's a third-string running back for them. 1-year contract for him. New York Jets have released C.J. Mosley. Arizona Cardinals have signed defensive end L.J. Collins. Okay, he's gone. No, they re-signed him. Cardinals re-signed defensive end L.J. Collins for 1 year for $4 million. That's a pretty good contract for him. Next. Okay, so that's the NFL. The key points are a lot of teams are loading up on defensive linemen, offensive linemen. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson are still available. They're using their availability and trying to leverage teams for a lot bigger contract. I would not fall into that problem. I would draft somebody. Even though this year's draft for quarterbacks is garbage, I would draft somebody to fill in a quarterback role, maybe sign some cheap guys to be backups, and then wait till next year. Now the Steelers, they win. They have a winning record every year under Mike Tomlin. Okay, they make the playoffs, they lose in the playoffs. They're not getting better. Okay, so they're going to keep treading water. They're going to stay, 10 wins, 9 wins, and just keep floating. The problem is if you never dip, you never get a chance to flip your roster. Okay, so the Steelers are old. They're old, and the plan is reached its limit. Okay, I'm glad they do it. I mean, the Bengals need to beat them once in a while. Okay, it's hard for them to beat them. But it really seems like the Steelers are struggling, okay? They're making poor decisions. This is the first time they've ever been left without a quarterback in this situation. And if they get Aaron Rodgers, so sad. So sad. I think that's not going to go well for them. Just like it didn't go well for the Jets either, and it did not go well for the Jets, okay? All right, and the UFL, much more exciting football, UFL. Last night, near the end of the night, Houston Roughnecks signed defensive lineman Israel Antwine. He had played for the Massachusetts Pirates in the IFL. He's a rare IFL guy who gets booted up to the UFL. Maybe he'll go to the NFL. He played at Oklahoma State. He's 6'3", 309 pounds. That's a big guy, okay. Today, the Brahmas have signed defensive tackle Marquand McCall, another big guy, 6'3", 345. Should be an awesome fit for nose guard for them. Wade Phillips from the 3-man front. It's like a 3-4. Having Marquand McCall, if he can make the team, if he's in shape, if he can not get injured, if he can make the team, he may be awesome for the Brahmas and really change the dynamic of their defensive line if he can make the team. A guy who did not make the team was wide receiver Juwan Green. He had spent some time with the Falcons in 2021. He had spent time with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2023. He spent time in the XFL with Seattle Sea Dragons, 10 games, 29 catches, 420 yards, 6 touchdowns. But he's released. He could not break the roster for the Brahmas. The receiver crew is really, really good. Okay, Jontre Kirkland, Marquez Stevenson, they're loaded. They got multiple tight ends. They are ready to go. Okay, all right. Next order of business. I had some big news. CFL, Montreal Alouettes have signed national kicker David Cote. They re-signed him. David Cote, excellent kicker for the Montreal Alouettes. I've used him in fantasy before for CFL, and he does pretty well. Okay, Edmonton Elks has signed national defensive back. I mean, he's Canadian. Jonathan Giustini. He was released by Tiger Cats last week. He was a draft pick for the Tiger Cats. They needed to free up some space. They got some defensive backs. They're pretty loaded defensive back. They have the Tiger Cats, so it's one of their stronger areas. Edmonton Elks have loaded their defensive line, but now they need some nationals on the defensive backfield. You got to make sure you have 7 nationals on the field all the time, so you need a healthy amount of those. I can see what the Elks are doing there. The Calgary Stampeders released American running back Kylan Hill. Never heard of him, and I watched the league pretty close, so if I've never heard of him, he probably isn't anything special. Okay. No offense to him. And the IFL, big announcement for the IFL. One thing I've liked about the IFL over the last couple of years is that you can watch all the games for free on the IFL network on YouTube. That's nice. You get to watch some good football. It's very entertaining games. You get to watch that, and it's free. Last year they tried to pair with a streaming service, a channel. I forget the channel name, but it was horrible. The first couple of weeks, these streams were all crashing, and they were horrible streams. So I'm a little nervous here, but the IFL network has paired with Visaic Interactive products, okay, and they're basically selling like a game pass for the IFL, like the NFL has for I paid $99.99 for my game pass for the NFL. I use it all year because of scouting purposes and looking at game film and thinking about defensive structures. I use it for a bunch of different things. The IFL has a season pass now through Visaic, through their website. If you go to IFL Network or goifl.com, you go to watch, you'll see where you can get the subscription for the season pass, which I'll probably do. I'll probably watch all these games. It'll be $29.99 for the full year, and you get to rewatch them. There's live chat, there's DVR, you can replay the games, you can get you can cut highlights up from it. That's all pretty cool. There's also a monthly rate of $9.99. Why would I not do that? Because if I'm going to watch for 3 months, I'm already paying $30. And this season for the IFL is like 4 months long. So I might as well get the full year for $29.99. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it has live chats, live DVR. I don't get paid anything from the IFL. If you don't get the subscription, you just don't get to watch IFL games. I like the IFL. It's my favorite indoor football league. If you like indoor football, you should subscribe to the IFL thing. It's $30 for the season. That's not a bad. You're going to see a ton of games. Okay, a ton of games. It's the best indoor football league in the country right now. The AF1 is trash. I would not pay anything. You not pay anything for that. It's trash. NAL is free on YouTube, but it's not as good as IFL. IFL, now you're paying $30 for the year. $30 isn't bad though if you like indoor football, which I do. Okay, got it. All right, the last thing for today is my Gadzooks team of the day, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers because of their quarterback situation. Last year, they had Russell Wilson. They had Kenny Pickett at the beginning, somewhere in there. They traded Kenny Pickett to the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been traded to the Browns. They had Russell Wilson. They signed Russell Wilson. They seem to have no plan at quarterback. They ended up playing a lot of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. So it seemed like, are they going to bring back one? Are they going to pick one of those two? They don't get that option right now because Justin Fields got signed by the Jets. See ya. He's out. Russell Wilson is trying to leverage people. He's talking to the Vikings. He's talking to the Giants. He's talking to the Browns, trying to find a way to fit in there. The Browns just picked up Kenny Pickett. Are they going to pick up Russell Wilson? They might. The Browns are one of these teams like the Colts that have no plan. So they just start throwing money around and picking people up, hoping it's going to work. But they're already paying $81 million the salary cap, literally, for Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't pick up another quarterback. I would try to get Deshaun Watson out of here and free up some money. But I'm not the Cleveland Browns, so luckily, that would be horrible. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, I heard he wanted to go to the Steelers. Steelers wanted him, yada, yada, yada. Not really. He's using them for leverage. He's using the Giants for leverage. He's trying to get as much money as he can because he needs to get out. He's ready to retire, I think. He's ready to retire, but he wants to get paid before he retires. And if he gets, like Adam Schefter said, 2 years for $90 million, it's worth all this crap. It's worth all this crap. And he's going to be disappointing. He's going to throw some picks. He's going to be injured. It's going to be a disappointment. I hope the Steelers get him. Okay, I hope the Steelers win the Aaron Rodgers race. I hope Russell Wilson goes to the Giants and wins with them. I don't mind Russell Wilson. Go win with the Giants. The Giants are not an offensive team to me, okay? I don't get offended by the Giants being successful. I do not like the Steelers. I hope they get Aaron Rodgers, and that is a destructive force on their team, okay? And they overpay for him, and they destroy their future. That would be amazingly fun, okay? Let's do that, Steelers. So they're my Gadzooks team of the day because they have no quarterback. We're in free agency. They have no quarterback. We're going to the draft. These quarterbacks are trash this year. Trash. Shedeur Sanders. Not good, okay? The other guy, Jackson Dart. I'm not going to draft him in the first round. But if I can get him for the 5th round, 4th, 3rd, 4th round, I'll draft him then. But not first round. People are going to draft these guys in the first round. Those teams are really bad at scouting. They're really bad. Shedeur Sanders, good game manager, has no deep ball. What you going to do? I'm going to man that guy up and bring the heat and let him throw interceptions to my guys, okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to man up his outside, play zone underneath, let him throw picks to me. That's what he's going to do, okay? If he survives the season, which he might not because the Cleveland Browns don't have a great offensive line, okay? Got it. So, no quarterback this time for the Steelers. That's sad for them. Tomorrow, I'll definitely go through transactions in NFL, CFL, and UFL. Hopefully a little slower than tonight. I made a few mistakes. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? If you're watching still, subscribe, like the video. Check out UFL News. So I wrote an article about the guys they signed today. Marquand McCall, monster defensive lineman, nose guard for them. I talked about Juwan Green. That was an article on UFL News Hub. Check it out. Check out my Substack. Check out CFL News Hub. My Substack is Football Scientific. Like this channel, okay? Check it out. See good things. We're kind of watching the Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson situation. I'll do a short on that with Football Scientific Night Vision once that's released. Hopefully tomorrow. That'd be great. Okay. Tomorrow also I'll be going through my Week 2 NAL picks. Last week I went 2-2. I'm hoping to go 3-0 this week and get to 5-2. That'd be a lot better. Okay, a lot better for me. A lot better for if you want to gamble on those games. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know where you can gamble on it. They're not part of DraftKings or whatever like the IFL is. But I mean, go for it. But it's not my thing to gamble on it. So I'm gonna go through those picks and hopefully I'll get to 5-2 for the NAL season so far. Okay. Next week, we'll see a bunch of neat things happen with previews and stuff. Hope you have a great night. Thanks for joining me for Football Scientific. We'll be back tomorrow. Timmy's back. I'm back. He's back and better forever. And Ziggy wants to say, hey. Hey, guys, I hope the Colts make better decisions in the future. Bye-bye. Goodbye, Daniel Jones. You're going to get hurt. Okay, nice message, Ziggy. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night. Bye.